Welcome to Thoughts in the Glass podcast. I'm LaToya.
And I'm Kendra.
And this is a weekly podcast where we share our unfiltered thoughts and opinions on a variety of topics.
So sit back, relax, and grab your favorite drink and join us on a real, raw, and ridiculously funny commentary.
Period. Every week we do a drink of the night. So Kendra, what's our drink tonight?
Tonight's drink is called the Strawberry Lemon Drop. You know, we love a lemon drop, right? But we did a little spin. We didn't use the vodka. We used lemon drop rum. What is it? Springtime.
Yeah. It's
time for vacation.
Yeah.
It's time to lighten it up.
Lighten
Because,
it up.
rum give you a little bit of island vibes.
It does.
It gives you a little sunshine and vibes. So for the lemon drop, strawberry lemon drop martini, you're going to use 2 ounces of the lemon drop rum, 3/4 ounces of your strawberry syrup, a 1/2 ounce of triple sec, and 3/4 ounce of lemon juice. Put it in your shaker, shake it up, shake it down, swirl it all around, and then you strain it into your martini glass. Garnish it. Usually it's just a strawberry, but we did a little bit of lemon because it's a lemon draw. All right. And that's it.
Cheers.
Clinks and
How you gonna clink the fruit?
Clinks and clonks.
So
you know what? I should have rummed it.
Oh yeah, you should have rimmed the glass. It's a little on the stronger side for me. But whatever, y'all know I'm a lightweight, so it is what it is.
This was very much so needed for me after my weekend.
I would say if you're like me, I don't know what you gonna do. Add a little lemonade.
You could probably add more of your strawberry syrup.
Yeah.
Instead of doing 3/4 ounce, do a 4 ounce.
Or instead of doing 2 ounces of the rum, maybe do 1.5.
Yeah.
Yeah. But okay.
Live your life.
So the thing is, y'all lucky we only have an hour because she's saying live your life, but then I'm gonna take a nap.
Big sleep time.
And her fingers crossed I won't start yarning
during the. You know you are. That's a given. I'm ready to yarn now.
So, all right, how was your week?
Crazy.
I can imagine.
Crazy. Luckily, we averted the shutdown.
Yeah.
The week before.
Yeah.
I think we talked about it.
We did.
Yes, averted that until September.
Yeah.
What else did I do?
Well, the big thing was the party.
I know, but I'm trying to see if I'm working on science fair.
Okay, you got that.
So I've just finished that up. So, and then of course, if you all know, working on that party. The party was great. The weather the sun was shining. The rain didn't rain.
Correct.
The wind said, fuck everything you got going on. We were going to do it outside in the tent, as I've told you guys, and have the heat. The setup was so nice.
Oh, that's right. You bought all those heaters.
The setup was setting up so nice. Then the wind said, I like being in here too. Broke up my little baby tent.
Oh.
So then at 5:30, we have to now run everything into my parents' basement to set up everything all over again. And the party so started at 6. So I had Jayla reach out to my friends and say 7 o'clock will be better. I got there at 7 in the midst of having to help do other things. So stuff was running a little late. So the kids are kind of hanging out until about 7:45, 8 o'clock. Then they came on downstairs with their masks and stuff like that. The setup was so nice, as you all see in the video. Our friends came dressed really nice. Nobody just had on regular streetwear.
They got fancy.
They got a little fancy for 16, 17-year-olds. And then she looked good.
She was happy with
everything. She was very happy with everything. Aww. So I cooked basically almost everything. So we had hip-hop chicken. That's a staple. We did mac and cheese, green beans, meatballs. One of her friends' aunts did queso. And we had rolls and salad.
Low-key, you could have brought me a plate. I didn't even think about that.
Hecky, I really could have.
I didn't even think.
What I couldn't
because you wasn't home.
I wasn't home. I dropped everything off at home and then left it.
After I had texted you, or after you had texted me, I thought about it, but then I was like, the food probably gone. Like I ain't even. I know, but I should have been like, can you make me a black?
It was so good. So now we have food for the week. Maybe I'll bring you lunch. I'll do that. I'll bring you lunch. And then what else? That was it. When I say exhausted, I did go down there a couple times.
So you did, but you basically did everything. All the decorations we see. I know when we talked Friday, you was like, I'm doing balloon arches. So all of that stuff, you just basically did everything.
A Friday night, blowing up the balloons.
Bless your heart.
This is why, like, now knowing that I want a house, because I told y'all we were looking at houses. I want a house with a nice backyard for that to be able to be a venue, and not even just the backyard. Like I want the already coverings and stuff like that.
A little gazebo or something like that where you can not just have stuff back there.
But then also having a basement that is large enough to host if I want to do stuff. So one of her really good friends, his mom and I were on the majorette team together. Okay, and so when she dropped him off, when she picked him up, she came down. And she's like, what kind of party? There ain't no jean stains, no nothing on the what's going on. They ain't party. They ain't partying like I was gonna party. We served the kids, so everybody wore all the, like my brother's sister-in-law, my bonus sister, we all had on black and served the kids as if they were in like, a little restaurant.
Oh, that's so cute. I love that.
And then my mother was like, let me go down here and see what they do. No, stay your little butt up here. Because she's like, the profanity. Girl, get out of the music.
I know.
It's time for you to go. But yeah, so other than that, it was a nice time. I'm glad it's over.
Yeah.
I think that's a memorable Sweet 16.
Yeah, I'm glad you did it. Because I know earlier in the year you were on the fence. Y'all were talking about going out of town, or what were you gonna do at first?
So
get like a party bus or something.
I was going to like a party bus, and then I had thought about maybe just her and one of her really good girlfriends taking them to Florida or something like that. But probably would have been cheaper
and less stress
stressful.
But it was a good experience, and I'm glad y'all did that.
And so now gearing up for my son Justin. Oh Jesus! Hey Justin, you must be talking about me. Joshua. Did I have too much to drink?
We just started.
I must be exhausted.
The tongue is tired.
The tongue is tired. The tongue said, "Girl, in the bed you go, and close your mouth. I don't want to do no work. Don't even snore. I don't want no vibrations. Nothing. Shut the hell up." Is what it said. But Joshua will be turning 3 in April, the 26th, and Davon turns 37.
Oh, he's a little baby.
2 days after that.
So you basically still running.
I'm still running. My mom's birthday is in May. So doing a little surprise. She knows that we're going somewhere, but I have a whole thing planned for she and the ladies.
Well, hopefully she don't watch the podcast.
Well, she knows, but she just doesn't know what's going on. And then
she know y'all doing something, but the surprise is what y'all actually doing.
Yeah, I had to tell her something. Because she'll book a vacation. She'll book a cruise tomorrow. She'll be gone. Yeah. And so then I come to find out, because that's Saturday, my father was like, oh, we leave Sunday.
Damn. You should have just took her whole weekend. Because, see, you probably was like, oh, I want to do something with you Saturday. And she's like, okay, cool, I'm busy Saturday. But Sunday,
I can roll out. She gonna when I tell you work on my nerves, she's like, I'm never here for my birthday. I know that, and the thing is, her birthday anniversary are a day apart. So her birthday's
the 20th. Why did they do that?
Her birthday, so that her wedding was actually supposed to be, I want to say, in June, and then one of her friends, and we using friends very loosely. Okay. Decided that she wanted, so she took her date.
Oh wow!
For the church or what? In some instance, somebody that knew that my mother was getting married took the date of June. I don't know if she had fully booked it, but she maybe heard that she was taking that date. So then the only thing that was available was the 21st. Wow. And her birthday's on the 20th. Crazy. And it's so crazy because nobody could ever remember which one was which. And so she told me the story where everybody's getting ready, doing a rehearsal dinner on her birthday. Everybody's doing all these things on her birthday, and nobody acknowledged that it was her birthday.
Aww.
And then later that evening, my dad sent over some flowers and some other stuff to make sure your day hasn't been.
So sweet.
I was like, that's how she knew she was married right now.
Oh.
You think about it. Think about you all the time. So that's how I remember that story. Oh, so he had to send you something because everything was going on your birthday.
So you getting ready to be busy for spring.
About to be busy. So that her birthday's in May. Dealing with that. Then Janae turns 19 in June. Nothing for July, but then that's prime time. Are we going on vacation? Are we doing anything for summer? And then my birthday's in August. Mm-hmm. Jonathan turns 10 in September. And then we back in the fall.
Right.
October, Halloween, or getting ready to go back to school. Then you have Thanksgiving, then Christmas, and then what we doing? A New Year.
Yeah.
And I needed to go fast these next 4. As much as I don't like to rush the years, these 4 years got to go.
No, I don't. Even with that, I still don't want to rush the year because it's like I don't like to rush my life along like that. So,
I get it.
Even with everything going on, I still wouldn't want to rush the year.
And I feel like that, but then it's also like I feel like I'm also living in his first 4 years. I just feel like we were living in, except that last year, of course, we were getting the stimulus checks and people weren't working because of the pandemic, and so there was some, of course, negatives to that, positives to that for some people, whatever. But it was always some bullshit going. Like it was always something, and that's always gives anxiety.
I feel like the pandemic actually made it. I feel like his first presidency would have been worse if we didn't experience the pandemic. Granted, and I'm not being insensitive. I know the pandemic was hard for some people. A lot of people, me and my own family, we lost about 4 members of my family during the pandemic. So like, I'm not saying that to say that it was an easier time.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is that globally, we had something that we could focus on to take the focus off of him, and he wasn't really able to
take the spotlight.
Yeah, and do a lot of the crazy, even though he did do, but he wasn't able to do as much because it was like
we were focused on something.
Nobody
else.
could entertain that. We have to get this under control.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And so it kind of pushed that first term along to whereas we really didn't have to deal with him like that. I just think that now it's more in your face because there's nothing else to distract.
Right.
There's nothing else to kind of like focus on. And it's all these antics and it's all these different things.
Yeah.
So.
And I think that his first term was really a dry run to learn all the shit that he couldn't do. And so now he's doing it quicker.
Do you really think he learned?
So a lot of stuff that he was trying to do, he had people in, no, well, you can't do that. You know, you have to do it this way. And the time that it would take for him to have learned how to do it. Now, if he had a second term, I think everything that's happening now would have happened then. And so now
I do, but then I don't at the same time because I feel like that second term coming right behind the first one, it doesn't get okay because now, in my opinion, he spends a lot of time blaming the Biden administration for things. Oh, they did this, well, they did that, they did this, they did that. If his terms would have been consecutive, who could he blame for anything? So
I'm not talking about that part. I'm talking about with these executive orders.
Oh, okay.
With, like, because he didn't know how to go about it.
Yeah.
He would just do stuff and didn't realize, no, you have to do an executive order, and then it has to go to the judge, and it has to go to this. Like, he didn't do those things.
Yeah.
He didn't learn about those things until, you try something that don't work. You try something else. Because he was trying things.
Yeah.
And saying he was going to do things, and nothing really came out. But then he also had people who were in that position that also were like kind of bucking the system. He now has a bunch of people that are just yes men.
Yeah.
So it's just easier to get stuff done. So all the people that he fired and that he's, this person, like he threw all of the legitimate people. Now he's just going through people. Oh, because people's mindset, oh, he's still around. Let me, kiss the ring. Let me do this. This is how dictatorships happen, right? Hitler didn't start out just being Hitler, right? He tried this, tried it, and then after a while, something clicked.
Yeah.
For whatever reason. And I think we're in a space where something clicked. Like on TikTok, everywhere, talking about segregation is possible. These different things that 4 years ago he talked about and I guess planted a seed. Then all of a sudden, the people who do not thrive under a administration in which criminals don't run it, they are like, oh, well, see, it was better because he was saying the things that I felt. Like, everybody was about their feelings. He was saying the things I felt. He was saying that he wasn't doing anything for you.
Yeah.
It was just conversational. And the unfortunate part about people with a lesser education or are not in a space in which they have to actually do what they say they're going to do. When people are just talking about it, that's just enough for them, right? So if you on food stamps, you on this, you on that, and they saying I'm going to make it easy even for everybody, your mindset saying they just going to make it easy for everybody. But also, when they say we're going to take this away from you, when they changed the name, we're going to take Obamacare. Oh yeah, take Obamacare, but don't take the Affordable Care Act. It's the same thing. Yeah. Don't take all the blacks, are on food stamps, but don't take my my TANF. Don't take my TANF. We ain't gonna touch SNAP, but we're gonna touch the food stamp. It's the same thing. You know what I mean? So you want to use a name for something, but you gonna give it the name that makes it seem as if it's for somebody else. We're not gonna say, I'm at my SNAP benefits, my food. Like you think that you have something different in rural America, then it's all the same system. It's all the same system. And the system that they're trying to fight against, they don't like the IRS because they already don't pay taxes. They don't like Social Security because more often than not, they're not even going to be able to collect. So that's all of the things that are benefiting you. And Social Security doesn't just come after you've worked for a certain amount of time and you retire. Social Security also for those children whose parents have passed away and they had worked. So they'll be able to have something to be able to help them out. So I think people are just hearing what they want to hear and are backing it. And then all of a sudden when stuff starts to affect them, it's like, oh, well, wait a minute. And then it's like, well, who's going to help us? We tried. Yeah. If you want to talk about get up by, as they used to say to us all the time, get up by your bootstraps and come on.
Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting to watch and to sit back and see how everything is unfolding and taking place. And I really hope, it's a hard place to be in because you don't want to see your country, your government crash, right? I don't think anybody wants that. But on the other hand, especially us in particular as Black people, as Black women, at a certain point, you have to let things crash and burn. Yeah. You can't always come in and save it. You can't
be the savior.
And everybody's going to be affected by that. And that's the unfortunate part. But like, how is anything going to change if we keep coming in and saving? And so, you see this little joke going around now that like, oh, the government's crashing down and Black people learning every line dance. It's a joke, but it's also some truth in that joke.
Because it's not my business.
Yeah, that we're really taking a step back from this and allowing those other people that are affected by it to stand up. Because if we keep coming in and trying they'll never understand the true value of us. Exactly. So it's disheartening to sit back and watch, but I mean, I really have been sitting back and watching, and
I've really been trying to learn these line dances because I want to.
Where the fans at? Where the fans at?
That's what I want to be doing. I don't have it.
You gotta do it. Wait, okay.
Take me to the rodeo. I know they be having it down here in Waldorf. I done seen it.
Okay, speaking of rodeo, we getting off topic. I'll get to my week, but y'all be killing me because okay, I know it's a lot of Beyoncé haters, but that's my girl, homegirl. And one thing I'm always gonna ride for is the fact that Beyoncé sets the tone and pushes us forward in a cultural way. And a lot of people disagree with this. A lot of people, she's not all that, she's not this, that, and whatever. But y'all going to rodeos, everybody having these Western themed birthday parties. You cannot tell me that that was not directly inspired by her. Yeah.
So I'll say this. I've always enjoyed, I've taken the kids horseback riding. I've always enjoyed a little country tune. Yeah. I ain't mad at it, right? Now, if I don't see it like in my face, I would not say that I would have like maybe gone to a rodeo because I don't like the violence. Yeah. I don't know if I want to see the bucking of the things and all that stuff. Now, when you tell me there's a party associated with it, I ain't mad. Right. So I've always said, like, we talked about, like, going to Tennessee, because I wanted to go, go to the, but then I also be like, where we at in Tennessee?
Right. Gotta be careful.
So now if I know I can go down to Waldorf, it's a mixed bag.
Yeah.
The Blacks is down there.
Yeah.
The DC Blacks is back. So it's a.
You feel safer.
I feel a little bit safer, and I feel like I could drive home.
Yeah.
If I need to. But I've always enjoyed the fullness of, because cowboys came from black men being cowboys. They just like the name of it, so they were like, "Oh, we're gonna of course, they just take everything." But I know I will agree.
Thank you.
That she made it okay.
Between her repopularizing
Shabuzi. Yeah. I think, and there's a couple of other black artists that have kind of gotten bigger. That is a young lady that I've heard her music, and it's like, it's more R&B with a
country twang.
I
think so. There's a subgenre that's like pop country, where it's like it's country, but it could be pop, it could be R&B. It's like a little mixture, which yes, I like. So interestingly enough, the girl Tanner Adele, I actually heard of her before Beyonce album came out. There was a trend on TikTok where they were like, it was a trend where it was like, I didn't know this person did this. And it would be a bunch of black people doing stuff. I don't know if y'all remember this, but it was a TikTok trend where it was like black alternative artists. I think this was around the time when Willow was starting to get really popular again, like kind of resurging. And for me, I had noticed it from this trend. So I found Tanner Adele through that trend where it was like, I didn't know black people were doing country, right? And so I started following her. So then when I saw her show up on Beyonce's album, I was like, oh, that's so dope. Yeah. Like, I've been following her. That's so great that she could do this. Yeah. So I feel like we did get a little taste of this. But then circling back to my point, while people may hate on Beyonce for whatever reason, you can't deny the push that she has on things. Like, Shabuzi and all these other artists working with Beyonce has pushed them to be more in your face, in the forefront. He was doing his thing before that, but now that he's done that, he's in people's face. People talking about him. And I think also with the thing, I'm going to take it all the way back to, I think she's been doing this for a long time and people haven't been giving her credit. But I'm going to take it all the way back to, I would say, I could take it further, but I'm going to take it here. Right after The Lion King, where she did The Gift, and it was like a Afrobeats album. At the time, Afrobeats was just starting to surge, and people were onto it. After she did that, now all of a sudden you see Tim's getting a lot more people wanting to work with her and all of that. Now all of a sudden you see DeVito coming out, people wanting to work with him, WizKid, stuff like that. Y'all fight me. I feel as though she is a cultural influence, and I feel like people that deny it are just haters.
But this is what I also will say. I think some people that are more versed in music are very much so aware of all of these different genres.
That is true.
I think what ends up happening is anyone that is more popular and does it just pushes it more mainstream, right? But I don't want to take away from it, because I think it's people that just are, there are people that are machines, that are okay because this person now has done it, it's okay to do, and then you have the other people that are like, nah, this person been popping, they've been doing this,
that is the whole point of it, is because there are those of us that would have found it. For example, I've been in Afrobeats. That's been my shit for years. So these artists that were on her project, not one of them was it the first time I had heard of them. But like you say, if you're not into that, and now she does it, it's like, oh, I like this. I mess with this. That is the whole point. I guess it's more
she gives the exposure. But then sometimes this would be the thing though, right? Because black cowboy, all the things black, we be already knowing about.
We do.
And a lot of stuff we keep it hush.
We do.
And so I think what ends up happening, I don't think it's all the time like us as a people. I think it's maybe the other fans get a whiff of, oh, well, I listen to country because she got a lot of flack. Oh, she not just standing for. We of course rally behind because now we know other black country art. Like she's not the first.
Yeah.
She's just Beyonce's doing something because she's done R&B. It's kind of she's switching it up. Oh, she she usually does R&B. Okay, now she's doing Afro. Like so, it's kind of an interest piece, kind of. But then you hear more of it because the people that really make stuff mainstream is white America.
Yes.
And so I don't want to say it's necessarily us that's like all of a sudden that we're on these trends. I think white America starts to make stuff popular because she's acceptable to them. And what makes her acceptable, she accepts them. Meaning the other artists or people that are coming in because they may not have listened to Shabuzi or they be like, oh, I like him, but I ain't gonna tell nobody I like him. Those type of things happen. So I think she is and I'll give her credit for that. Definitely give her credit for being maybe the glue or the mouthpiece, for lack of a better term, that allows what we already deem culturally okay on another scale. Like the limit, like braids. Like we've been doing braids, but like all of a sudden the lemonade braids is this, that, and the fourth. Or I got hot sauce in my bag too. Like we've been having seasoning.
Yeah.
Or asking for that on,
But I also think it's even within the culture because somebody made this comparison that when you're living in different areas, sometimes you don't know. So for example, with Kendrick Lamar and kind of his work and his project and stuff like that, that's exposing us to a lot of West Coast,
that people been on,
right? But us on the East Coast, we may like, not more so be familiar with that.
Same thing with Georgia when those artists come out.
So I do think it is even within our own community. Sometimes it's highlighting like this is how we do it here, and for us it may be that we don't do it exactly like that, but we actually do have something similar, and like. Because of this, now we're leaning into that because you're right. Trail rides, rodeos, stuff like that. We have had that in Maryland every year. Like that's not nothing new. You know what I'm saying? New. Even like doing like every year they do Preakness here. We have like all those kind of things too, which is like I feel like one is like the bougie version of like horse riding and racing and stuff like that.
The derby.
Derbies, and then the other side is like the more. I don't want to say grunge or gutter, but it's like more
black redneck.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't want to say that,
but yes.
But that's what I mean.
Yes.
And so we've been
on Broadway, off Broadway.
Yeah. Yes. Like so we've been doing this.
Yes.
But I do think that it's now like heightened. You know what I mean? And so I think it's within the culture too. Like I don't think it's just now that white people accept it, everybody's accepting of it. Yeah. I think it is some exposure within the culture. The other thing is too, re-educating, because as I'm learning, as I'm getting older, a lot of stuff we know about because our parents told us, or just because we've been around longer.
Yeah.
But these younger kids don't. And so when you have a Beyonce kind of bringing it to them,
to the forefront,
and they're being like, oh, I didn't know we did this. I didn't know we had that going on.
Yeah.
There's value in that too. Like we could be like, yeah, we've been new, but it's like these
young jokers.
And when would you take the opportunity to talk about that?
Yeah.
Other than like now somebody is circulating it back in the culture and you being like, oh yeah, my granddad used to like at one point in time in Upper Marlboro it was nothing but horses.
Yeah.
And like, what do you call those places where they
equestrian?
Yeah. And I remember. Even like when our school was first built, right across the street was
because I used to live. So that used to be Snake Road. That was a equestrian like training.
But do you? And I'm pretty sure you remember this. Like driving to school or sometimes walking to school, and like people would be riding their horses like on the side of the road.
Yeah.
So like, I think depending on where you live, that is not nothing new.
Yeah.
But for some people, like imagine people growing up in New York, like I don't know if they may have ever seen that.
I mean, the only way is if they went to like horse racing because they have a lot of that.
Yeah.
And further out into New York because that's a lot of the like mobby stuff.
Yeah.
So it'd be things.
But just stuff like that. Anyway,
but
that was a complete tangent, but I just wanted to bring that up because you were talking about
yes, but we be out here like listen. You know it's popular when my mother's like, I went and I recorded it and I had to pause it. I can learn to dance. I really like it.
Your mom gonna be popping a fan?
She said she got it already. She said, I'm gonna wop. I said, what?
I can't wait to see it.
Girl. So that's what, when we had the tents, that's what another thing we was going to do.
Oh, yeah.
It's like a,
little line dance
party and stuff like that. Anyway, heartbroken.
Oh, well, there's always a summertime. Y'all can have like a summer cookout or something.
Yeah. But continue.
My week was pretty chill. I didn't really get into too much. Ran some errands, got my hair done. I went to movie night with my book club. I had so many plans of what I was going to do Saturday, but everything, and I think I told you this earlier in the week, everything was happening at the same time. Like, Jayla's birthday party was at the same time as the movie night, was at the same time as my god sister's party. So I was like, I know I'm not going to be able to do everything, but in my mind, I was trying to think like,
how do I navigate
maybe I could just hit it. You know what I'm saying? Like on my way here, I could just hit it. On my way there, I could hit it.
Hit it.
But then also, I don't know if y'all experienced this, but the weather was so nice this past weekend. I was riding around with my windows down, and
Paula get up
my allergy,
and say, "Welcome back."
Even now, my throat is still a little like scratchy. So Saturday night, after I had texted you, I was like, okay, I'm gonna leave here, stop by there, and then I'm gonna just head home. I ended up on the ride home just having like this pounding headache. And I had took an allergy pill, but I think by that time, like around like 9-10 o'clock, it had wore off, and it just was like all day of me breathing that pollen in, and it was just like coming down.
Yeah.
But I had like the worst.
That's the worst
headache. So when I was like, okay, I'm gonna stop by, but then you didn't answer, that was also a part of the reason why it was easy for me to be like,
okay, well, that was
she didn't answer, I'm going home.
I said I would stop by.
And I assumed, I was like, she was hosting, she busy, she probably running around, don't have her phone. Like, I'm not even about to add to that stress. I'm just going to keep it moving. So I didn't get to do everything I wanted to do Saturday, but the movie night was cute. We watched, I had never seen Phantom of the Opera, the musical. And the reason why we watched that was because we read a book called Phantom, which was a dark romance. It was a retelling of the actual Phantom book.
Okay.
But it was reimagined to like the 1940s instead of like the 1800s. So it you know, we were just basically kind of trying to see where they got their inspiration from, because it was really not, it was two different stories, but they were very similar. And when I watched that Phantom, I was like, this is giving me Beauty and the Beast vibes.
Yeah.
So it kind of got me to thinking, like, all these stories are really just like the same thing being told over and over again. So anyway, but it was fun. I had never seen it before, so I finally seen it. I was getting some of the references, because like some of the songs in the Phantom of the Opera, I had heard them before, but I didn't know where they came from.
Okay.
And so now I know, like, oh, that's where that comes from. So that was fun, and I'm starting to really enjoy the book club members. Like, we joke, we you know what I'm saying, we kind of, it be jokes, and we be doing a whole lot of joking, and it's like, you know, it's just fun. You can relax and kind of like banter. So I enjoyed that. And that was really it. Not too much going on. I'm working on trying to reset my sleep schedule. Y'all pray for me.
Listen,
because I don't know, because now I'm thinking like I want to start getting to work earlier, but it's hard,
girl.
I need to get better with this, because I really struggle with waking up early, unless it's like, even like if I'm on a trip, or like even if we getting on a plane or something like that, because people are like, oh, I could get up early if it's to catch a plane. Low key, I don't really be booking too many like 6 a.m. flights, because I'm just like, I ain't trying to do it. And then if I do, it's a difference between like jumping up, either sleeping in your clothes because you know you got an early flight, or jumping up and throwing on like some t-shirts and a sweat. It just to get to the airport to get on the plane, versus like getting up, getting ready for work, and like being alert and ready to be productive. I feel like that's the issue for me. It's not about like just jumping up. Because on the weekend, I could just jump up.
Yeah.
But making sure I'm looking presentable.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's a difference between throwing on some leggings and some Crocs at 5 o'clock in the morning versus really getting ready for my whole day.
For the day. And that's kind of like, okay, so you up for 2 hours, but on the plane you can go back to sleep.
Right.
You're actually excited.
It's leisure time.
It's a very leisure situation. I have to drive myself to work, find parking, be presentable. At the airport, you ain't chit-chatting. You got your headphones on. You go about your business.
Yep.
Now I have to be awake.
Yeah. Good morning. How are you? All of that.
And that's when people be wanting stuff. No.
So I'm gonna try though, because the traffic has been crazy. And I feel like
let these people go back home.
I know, but I feel like the only thing I can do to combat it is either come in super early or come in super late. And then coming in super late is not even working for me because I was already trying to do like a 9 to 5 type thing. Now I'll be rolling in there at damn near 10 o'clock. And I'm like, I still sat in 2 hours worth of traffic. Just to get here by 10. Just to not leave till 6, 6:30. Just to sit in another 2 hours of traffic to get home by 8:30. It's like, I feel like I can't win. We both go in early anyway, and you have a much longer commute. I think I had to drop the baby off, and I think I dropped him off and I've been leaving and going straight to work, not having to drop him off for a minute. So at 6:30, there's traffic, and it's still crazier than what it should be. When I have to drop him off, and I didn't drop him off until 6:45, so now I'm not getting back onto my path for another, that adds maybe 5-10 minutes on where I need to go. That makes a difference. Yeah.
And so then it's usually, if I'm leaving home at 6:30, I could be at work by 7:15. Yeah. Basically, 7, meaning at work, parked, walking into the building. That don't be the case.
No. And
then it's always trying to find parking at work sucks. If you come in late, I don't be having time.
And you talk about wanting to buy a house. Where?
So the house that we're looking at.
Because the nice houses are far out, and that's going to make y'all commute long.
The houses that we're looking at are in Upper Marlboro. It's not too bad, but it would add it would add a little bit. So the thing is, the hope, still having the house my house, we would just have to be out of the house earlier. So that would kind of be the thing. And I don't have an issue being up early. If everything is really pretty much done, we're good to go. It's having to do it for other people.
Yeah.
Right? So Jonathan, I have his left stuff laid out. All he has to do is grab his clothes and go. The issue is what clothes are you going to grab? Are you going to go into your closet and get those? Or are you going to grab whatever you just had on yesterday? It's having to be no, get the clean clothes.
Yeah.
Take your shot, taking the dirty clothes and putting them in my room and locking my door. So you have to go and look for the, whatever. But, the traffic has been stupid.
Yeah.
Getting up early is not. It's not for the. It's
and
not for the week.
I really feel like it has an effect on my way of life because now I'm tired at 8 o'clock or I'm tired at 7 o'clock.
And so you don't want to cook.
Yeah.
You don't want to do anything.
So it's even though you moved your whole timeline up to avoid traffic, it's still not like you're gaining any time on the back end because I'm okay, well I'm home. I got a couple of hours to do whatever I need to do, but it's 7:30. I need to be in bed.
And the thing is, what I do appreciate, and what helps me out, is that it's lighter longer.
Yeah, that does.
So help. I can't necessarily just fall asleep because my body's oh, well, you still got daylight. You can still be doing stuff. And don't let it be warm. I'm a summer baby. The moment the sun really comes out, first of all, as Black people, and most of the time as women, we are vitamin D deficient anyway. We don't have enough sunlight. Because our genealogy is from Africa, so we are used to
naturally having sun exposure.
Yes, and so not having that and having that barrier being further up beyond the equator, it causes us to be that have that
it changes the
deficiency.
mood.
Yeah. But when I have a longer days and it's warm outside, I feel like my body be like, get me out into my element.
Yeah.
But I be like, it's hot and I'm sweating.
Yeah. It is a I think like a burst of energy. Just, like having that nice weather and having the sun out. I do experience that, but I don't know. Like I'm trying to figure it out. Cause that too, like getting up in the morning, it's still dark. That also is making you feel groggy and like, it's hard. So y'all pray for me. Just keep me in your prayers.
Listen, her and her sleep pattern.
Okay. I'm really trying, guys. So pray for me. Okay, so changing the topic.
Okay.
I got a question, and you may not be able to answer it because you in a relationship.
Am I?
You are in a relationship. I knew he was gonna do that. You're in a relationship, ma'am.
I am.
So how do y'all hook up? So we were having this conversation.
Oh God.
With my book club, because most of them they try to play me talking about, oh, we got a new member of the book club, and one of the girls was like, oh, you're not the only spouse anymore. And I'm like, first of all, nobody was keeping track of that.
Nobody but y'all.
Nobody.
No, actually, somebody was, and clearly it was you.
Yeah. Like, why you gotta put me out there? You're not the only spouse anymore. This other person's married. Like,
okay.
But, okay, so we're talking about this. How do single people be hooking up? I'm really interested to
Well, I'm not too far removed from being single.
Oh, Lord. I'm really interested because you can't just be sleeping with everybody until you find that person that's sexually compatible with you. So, like, do you ask a person, like, I know people talk about sex, but, like, do y'all be asking people, like, really specific questions about sex before you hook up with them?
No.
So how do you do it? Do you just take a gamble? Do it just
that's why you end up with partners who are trash on both ends.
Oh, gosh. I cannot imagine that. Okay, because let's imagine for a second that we're single, right? And we're looking for a sex partner. And you have so this is the question. Are you looking for a sex partner, or are you out just dipping and doing? You're looking for a sex partner. Somebody that could be like that, we may not have anything else, but we know we can get this from each other. Okay. Right? But in order for us to do that, it has to be mutually beneficial. I gotta feel like I'm taken care of. You gotta feel like you taken care of. And you have a slew of options, right? You have a plethora of options of guys. You've never slept with any of them. But now you're trying to figure out of them, who is going to be the person. Oh, you know what I'm saying? Out of all the guys on the app, so anybody that you may come across, you're trying to figure out who's going to be the person. You can't fuck all of them.
This is what happens. Okay. You go on a date and you see if there is any sexual chemistry. Because let's be clear, women can have themselves do a lot of stuff. Okay. Right? So if there's sexual chemistry, if that person can get you to a point where you will enjoy it, because for women it's more mental stimulation. Okay. Right? If you meet somebody to give you mental stimulation, but let's say he is lacking in that other area, I mean, inevitably it's a gamble. You're still going to do something with them. And so this
is what I'm curious about. Is like, it is a gamble. Yes. And so are single people just out there shooting their shot till they find somebody? I cannot really fathom that.
What do you mean?
Meaning, like,
you're telling me when you got out of your relationships, right, and you were dating, and I'm not even going to say, like, it's just the same thing. You're dating somebody. It's a gamble if that person's going to be of substance, right? Yes. Right? Yes. So let's say it's not even about the sexual part. Let's take that out, right? Yeah. You're meeting people and you see somebody that you think is attractive, and you have a slew of people that you're like, oh, all these guys are attractive. There'll be somebody they're easy on the eyes and appealing. There's a gamble of this person is an airhead, though. Yeah. This person has a lot to talk about. Yeah. And it's too much, and you doing too much.
I feel like I don't have to risk any intimacy by determining that. But for sex, you do.
So it depends on how you compartmentalize it, right? If you're saying, I'm really doing auditions to find somebody that I can just, friends with benefits, no issues, right? You mess with such and such. He was cool. Conversation was lacking, but it looked like, because people could have a big package and it'd be trash.
That's true.
People could, talk all this game, but then you're having a conversation and let's say you do talk about some type of intimacy stuff, and they're like, oh, I don't go down. That's a negative. So, right? So it's these conversations, but then you could be messing with somebody And it's like, he don't have a lot up here, but his sex game is good because he's making up for it. Right? This would be the person that I can only do this with.
Correct.
Because he don't got nothing to talk about. He whatever. So you have your list of whom and what. So I guess the problem is, though, I'll say this. If you find somebody that has everything, then you're going to want him to be your boyfriend.
I agree with that.
But if you're looking for just somebody to play around with, either you're going to have somebody that ain't the best in bed but has really good conversation, so you don't get wrapped up into either one.
Right.
Or you find somebody that's bomb in bed. Well, this could be slippery, though, because women will dumb themselves down for a good piece of, hello, come on, talk. Somebody talk to me. Am I talking to you?
Yeah.
Oh, good dokie. So it can get to that space, right? A lot of times, if they are lacking but smart, people are like, oh, he's just so intelligent, so this, he's so that. But it's like the bedroom.
I feel it's a difference between coming together and being with a person, because I feel like we can lower our standards or sometimes make exceptions because I like you as a person, as a whole. And that is completely different from I'm just trying to, we just fuck buddies. And I'm speaking on that. How do y'all be finding y'all fuck buddies? Because
I'm telling you that you're going out with different people.
Yeah, but how do you make the cut?
You have to have sex with them.
I don't like that because
how do you know if you like each donut if you don't try the donut?
I know, but the
Baskin
thing
Robbins
is,
doesn't have 31 flavors.
Now you opening yourself up to all these people just so you open yourself up to 10 people just for the first 9 not to be good. And it's like, damn, I literally had to let all of y'all in just to find this one. I don't like that.
Because you're putting a lot of stake on the intimacy part of it.
Well, yeah, you got to try it. And I don't know. That's a little personal. Thing. You shouldn't just give it to anybody.
And that's
just to see if they gonna meet your requirements or not.
This is the thing for women because men do it all the time.
They do.
I think we, in our generation, we were brought up as this is a sacred place. This is your temple. You cannot anybody, and all of the things. Here's the true thing. If you don't sample the product,
you're not going to know.
What's the point? There are a lot of people that have gone and we virgins and get into a marriage and they find out that their husband is not pleasing them, not this. And not that sex has to be the whole thing in the end all be all, but there's only so much conversation that you can have.
I'm going to tell you, so during this phase of my life, we were not in touch, but I went through a very forward phase. Well, I would... Basically, to avoid that, I would literally ask dudes the first time I meet them, how big is your dick? Let me see it. Yeah. And now when I think about that, I'm like, oh my gosh, why was I doing that? Yes,
but even when people
I would do that.
It don't be that.
I know, but we talking about like...
Yeah, so in your mind, you're like...
17, 18. Yes. I'm thinking this is how you approach it. Even shit, I ain't going to front, y'all. I was doing this at like 20, 21. I would ask them that. And if we had a conversation and the dude said something like that, I don't go down or whatever. Immediately no.
Yes, you're out of the list.
Immediately no. What are you talking about?
It don't, for me, it doesn't mean that has to be at every time occurrence.
Exactly. But the fact that it's off the board. Yeah, no. No.
Then bye.
I can't deal with
because the first thing you're going to ask me is, well, don't even worry about it.
Don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it, sweetheart.
Don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it, sweet.
Because I ain't doing nothing you ain't doing.
I ain't doing that is my motto. If you ain't doing it,
I damn sure ain't doing it. And I used to be that girl at first. I used to be like, oh, I don't do that. I'm not doing that. But then I had to check myself. You want somebody to do that for you, but then you want to act like that. So then I was like, all right, cool. But I guess I need to, I don't need to, but I guess it would be helpful to kind of unlearn that behavior of like, oh, you're supposed to remain so pure. You're supposed to keep your numbers low. Because while girls that do have high numbers, I don't judge them for that. I guess it is low-key still a form of judging if I feel personally that I don't want my own numbers to be high. But then I can look at somebody else and say, well, I don't judge you for having high numbers. But it's like, you kind of do, because if you didn't care about that, like if you weren't judgmental of that, then you wouldn't feel that pressure on yourself personally.
Well, not necessarily, because also it just depends on like what you're comfortable with, right?
Yeah.
So if somebody else had, and I mean, I always try to make light of it so that it's not as heavy. But like if somebody say, "Oh, all I drive is trucks," and I'm like, "Well, I don't like trucks." I mean, not that you don't like them, but well, I only drive cars, so I only want a small this, or I only want, or you only want fancy cars. I'll take any car. So, or she'll just drive anything. I mean, okay, yeah, but I'm not judging her for driving anything,
right?
So,
but it's not my preference.
But it's not my preference.
Yeah.
So if my preference is like, I don't want that many people being able to talk on me. Yeah. That doesn't mean like you do what you want. Yeah. It's a personal preference. My thing is, especially being in the DMV or in like smaller areas, I don't want that many people to be that like 0 degrees of each other where somebody knows somebody.
But the other thing that can be said, and I've had this experience in the past, the other thing that can be said is, if we do engage one time and like that was it, I'll never, we ain't never do nothing again after that, that says a lot. Because if I'm out here sampling and I'm sampling, and granted, I'm saying I was young, but I've had this happen where like I thought this person was able to like, do
all the things.
And we did the thing, and I was like, "This is not what I was expecting." And he knew it too, because he even said like, "Oh, I want to come back and like redeem myself." And I was like, "Oh, okay." I ain't never called that man again. Well, actually, we did talk again, but when he called me, he was like, "Oh, we supposed to be setting up a time and this and that, and you ain't never tell me like when you was available." And in my mind,
do it the first time, baby, I don't have it for you.
In my mind, I'm thinking, get the hint. Like I'm not about the. We not doing this again.
I don't have numbers and time to waste.
Yes, like we not.
Have been done. And I'm not the kind of person that's like, I'm only going to keep messing with somebody to keep my numbers down. I'm not going to do that either.
Yeah, no, me definitely not doing that.
Because I was like an ex-boyfriend, and it was like, okay, well, we stopped talking, but I ain't really in the midst of not really wanting to do something with other people. Okay, cool. It wasn't all that anyway, but cool.
The only time I would go back to somebody that wasn't all of that is if that was my boyfriend.
That's what I'm saying. So it's
but like, no, if you my ex, hell no, I'm not like, first of all, we broken up. Secondly, it wasn't all that. So
I would just was like, oh, here and there. If I was and it wasn't like I had to do it. Like if he
it's one of those things like, I'm in the mood, you in the mood.
Yeah, we're coming from the club, whatever. Yeah. But when I move on and I find something better, it's like, well, you don't want to. And I'm like, but you're not. And it'll be the question like, but y'all not even together. But he's better than you.
Exactly.
So
I don't need you. I don't need you no more, baby. And I have had that experience too. As women, we grow, we learn our bodies, you know what I'm saying? But I would say for me, I feel like my experiences have only gotten better. So in my mind, I feel like every time I get with somebody new, I've upgraded on the experience. Yeah. But it could just be
the feelings that you have for that person.
And it could just be they're all maybe the same or equally adequate, but now I'm communicating more. So whereas the first person could have been as good as the last person if I told him the same thing I'm telling this person now, right?
And he was able to receive it.
Exactly. So I do understand that that's a part of it too. It doesn't mean that like the dude was just trash. Yeah. It could be multiple things. We're all evolving. Yeah. And now I'm getting that formula right. But I was just really curious about that because
they be out here dipping
with the single people, how do y'all do that? And then I'm curious to know, like, do you think when it comes to relationships, that sexual chemistry is more important than overall compatibility? Or like, is it a difference?
So the sexual chemistry is lust, right? And so you can lust after someone, but lust don't last. And so if there's no oomph behind it, then lust, okay, let me rephrase that. Lust can last forever. However, once the act has been done, it's easy to lose lust. Now, if you love somebody, you will forever lust after them. Okay. So there's a difference in like lust to lust for a long time with someone. Either the act never has happened, so you have an imagination of what it is. Yeah. or you really are in love with that person, so you're always lusting after that person.
Yeah.
So if you have lust attributed to something else, even lust and like chemistry, like there has to be something else.
Yeah.
Because lust can turn that can turn very quickly when if they say something that you don't like or they do something that you don't like. If you end up having sex or doing anything intimate with them and you like, oh, their kissing sucks and sloppy, or whatever is nasty, whatever it is, that can fade.
Have you ever been so like enamored or like pressed for a person and then get turned off by one little thing?
Yes.
Me too.
And the thing is, what happens with that though, you've built them up in your head. Mm-hmm. And the moment this thing happens, you come back to reality like, you aren't the person I sought you to be.
I know. I've had that happen, and it's so like deflating. Like, but also too, I'm gonna tell y'all a personal story. He already knows the story, but there was a guy that like maybe 2 years into my marriage, mm-hmm. I had a crush, mm-hmm. quote unquote crush, mm-hmm. on this guy, right? Mm-hmm. And I was honest with my husband. I'm like, yo, there's this guy in my office, and every time he comes. I don't know what office, it is. I'm getting the feels. Yes. And I'm just being honest and open and having this conversation because I don't want it to like turn into something. Right? And he's like, okay. He was like, well, I appreciate you telling me, but like, what do you want me to do with that information? I'm like, I'm just trying to like, I don't know if y'all can get this, and maybe a lot of women won't agree with me, but I was afraid of that feeling because I'm like, damn, why am I feeling like this about a dude that's not my man? Mm-hmm. And I was fearful that like maybe I don't, maybe the love isn't as strong, or like maybe mm-hmm, something's mm-hmm. up. So I'm thinking like, oh, we need to like have a relationship talk because I'm feeling this way. Child, I seen that man smoking a cigarette. He went on a smoke. I didn't know. Like I was just seeing him come by the office, but I didn't know that he smoked cigarettes. Mm. He was smelling good, looking good, and talking sexy. And like his voice was sexy to me. And one day I'm leaving out and I see him smoking a cigarette, and y'all literally, like you said, the image, everything just crashed. And it was like every time after that, I was like, his lips are so black and his fingertips are burnt. And it was like, how did I not see these little details before? And of course, I went back to my husband. I was like, "Yeah, I don't know what that was that I went through, but like,
girl, sometimes you got to zip your lips."
I know, but like, I'm new in my marriage, and like everything was feeling like I was like in that honeymoon phase, and then I see this guy, and I'm like, "Oh my God, I'm not in the honeymoon phase." I mean, I think I just overreacted, right?
Yes.
Also, I'm young. Y'all don't do me, okay?
I wouldn't have said. I would have been like, "Oh, I've been home and." See, this is the thing.
But I'm also not like, I can cheat, and I have in the past, but that's not a behavior that I want to have.
Yes.
So I feel like as soon as I started feeling those feelings, we need to address it because I don't want to end up doing something with this over here.
But this is the thing.
But then it was a false alarm.
Women, I'm going to tell you this. This is what I'm going to say. There are people in your brain that you can have as a real. Never learn their names.
Okay.
Keep that real in your mind. Because sometimes, just like men watch porn mm-hmm. or, they lust after the Gabrielles and the, Nia Longs and the Megan Goods and all of those things. And let that be your real in your brain.
But how do you, like, this was a close proximity thing. Like, we worked, we didn't work in the same office. We worked in the same building. And he would come into my office regularly for stuff. So, like, I knew his name. We had sent emails back and forth. Like, I was scared that it could have been a thing.
Girl, that thing was not going to be no thing. This is the thing. The thing is, a thing will only be a thing if you allow it to be a thing.
True. But I had never had that feeling, like.
Because you might have been mixing, like, if you are already in the enamored phase of your life.
Yeah.
People that come around that make you like that's going to happen. Yeah. So we were on the cruise, right? Mm-hmm. And I think it's also just like an innate thing. And it wasn't like I felt like I was going to do something, mm-hmm. but I'm used to my man's being there all the time. Mm-hmm. So when you see an attractive man, I think it's just a natural thing to be like, oh, what's tea with you?
But you on a cruise for a couple of days and then you don't see that person
I'll do that in real life too. I've seen people that be like, if my man. It's people that I know, right? But then I also am very much so aware of, and I think this is the conversation my dad had with he and I'm very much so aware of that grass looks super green.
It do be looking green.
But I'm not watering that shit.
Yeah.
Like it, and I want to admire it, and I might even have a little fantasy, but I'm gonna go home and I'm going to regulate myself.
I can't explain to y'all the feeling I was feeling.
I know the feeling.
I think you're right. I think I was already just in this like honeymoon state. So everything was just looking so
delightful.
Yes. But I swear that it was like,
you was gonna drop that man bomb.
I thought I was. Every time he would come into the office and like he was just so sexy. Like, oh, hey, good morning. How you doing? I used to be like, oh my gosh. I cannot control myself.
Girl, you out of control.
I know, but it's literally, I saw him smoking a cigarette, and it was almost like heartbreaking. Like the whole everything, like you said, that image that I had built up, it literally crumbled. And every time I saw him after that, it was like
you could see everything that was wrong. But that's the same thing. Like when you in a relationship and things start to like deteriorate, everything gets on your nerves.
Yes.
Everything. Yes. I used to, my ex he cussed with everything. Mm-hmm. And it never bothered me until it bothered me. And I was like, why is that why do you have to use profanity all the time? Why is that the only way? And he probably feel
like, I always talk like this. Why is
but then they'll be like, I don't cuss all the time, but because that's innate in you.
He like, I don't fucking cuss all the time. Like you literally
you just curse. What are you saying?
Nah, what the hell are you saying?
Right.
And you still cussing.
You still ready to because you don't have a widened vocabulary. Get it together. But everything would bother me. And so then I had to catch myself and realize that, like, I know when I stop, I'll say stop liking somebody because it'd be the little things. And I'd be like, ugh. And when I start doing that, child, the roller coaster is coming down the hill. The anticipation of that drop, we've now in the drop.
I don't think I get to that. Okay, I only get to that space with people who I'm not friends with first. Mm-hmm. Meaning, like, if I'm dating a guy, we were not friends first. We just went straight into dating. I can't get to that. Ugh, everything about you I don't like. But when I'm dating a person who we were friends first, what ends up happening for me is I just don't want to be like that sexual. Like, I'm not even going to say that sexual, but it's like we'll end up going back into friends, but we still have the titles of being in a relationship. Yeah. Because it's like we were friends and then I started seeing you more as my man. And so we transitioned into that space. When that part is broken, it's like, for me, I can shift you back to friend. Yeah. Which I feel like that's how I be getting in trouble a lot. Well, not a lot, but in the past, that's how I've gotten in trouble because guys would be like, oh, but we still so cool. We still da-da-da. And it's like, yeah, because we friends, but like, I don't like you like that anymore. Yeah. And it's not like everything is not ill to me because like, no, I still fuck with you though. And actually, we both was reading this one book and I want to tell you about it. But it's like, I don't want to cuddle with you. I don't want to go to the movies with you. I don't want to hold your hand. Mm-hmm. But you're still my homeboy. So
you have to break the whole relationship. Everything got to go.
And it's like, you're absolutely right. Mm-hmm. But I'm just speaking to the fact of like, how you in a relationship and it's starting to end. If we're friends, I don't go through that. I just don't want to be around you at all portion. It kind of is like, well, I don't want to be around you in a boyfriend kind of way, but I still fuck with you. Mm-hmm. And so I feel like guys sometimes don't notice that. They don't notice how like, yeah, she still call me. Yeah, we still hang out. But like, we ain't talking about the things we used to talk about. In fact, it's giving real surface level. Mm-hmm. But it's like, you cool. So yeah, what's up?
Heartbreak is over here. Heartbreaker, you got the best of me.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. Maybe that's toxic, but
maybe.
Maybe. me. And y'all know I never been the one to be like, oh, if it's toxic, it's toxic. It is what it is. I'll work on it.
Such is life.
I'll work on it. But anyway, was that another great episode?
That was another great episode. Thank you for sticking it in with me, baby. Because baby, let me tell you something. I don't care how long the party. It took me 2 weeks to get it ready. That's how long I'm gonna be tired for. Okay, I'm tired now.
You gonna be tired for 2 weeks, but then literally in like 3 weeks.
Exactly. That's why. That's the rest of this year. Eyes way to be closed, halfway open, half energy. Especially if I drink too much. It's all over the place. Stick with it with your homegirl.
Maybe you just need to.
I need a vacation that I'm not taking.
But you know what though? Did you see that thing I sent you where it was like, we think that rest is recharging? Check your Instagram.
Okay.
Yeah. We can talk about that next week.
Okay. All right.
Well, guys, make sure you like, subscribe, hit the notification button, tell a friend to tell a friend.
Drop down in them comments.
And we'll drink to that.
We'll drink to that.